to talk more about this. We are joined by Maya Miller. She's Head of Humanitarian Policy at Oxfam. Well, Maya, thanks ever so much for coming in. I mean, looking at these numbers, they're pretty damning, aren't they?
Well, the intention of this report was to show the stark inequality in how and where refugees are being hosted. There's been a lot of attention on what's been happening in Europe, but we wanted to emphasise that actually the vast majority of refugees are hosted by lower income and middle income countries, and wealthier countries need to do much more to show solidarity with those countries and to share the responsibility of hosting refugees, as you say, when we're in the midst of the world's worst refugee crisis since the end of World War II.
So do you think that the world's richer nations are thinking that they are the end destination for a lot of these refugees? Is that what the numbers don't show? The story behind them, if you like?
In that?
Well, the numbers show that more are in these poorer nations,
yeah.
but maybe it doesn't take into account that they're on their way to somewhere else.
Well, actually, I think what we're seeing with the EU-Turkey deal, for example, attempts by Europe to manage migration, is actually that the response from many rich countries is one of border deterrence and building up walls and fortresses. So I don't think there's a lot of evidence to show that people are on their way. There's evidence to show that people are being stopped from coming and having to make very treacherous journeys and losing their lives as a result. If there were legal ways to claim asylum, we wouldn't see some of the scenes that we're seeing now with people drowning in the Mediterranean and so on. So there must be an alternative way to help people fleeing conflict.
There does seem to be an anti-immigration mood, doesn't there, in the richer countries? I mean, how are you working with governments to try and change that mindset?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a very mixed picture. Certainly there's hostility from some sections of society towards refugees and migrants, and we've seen awful xenophobia. But we're also aware that there's a lot of support, and actually there's evidence to show that there are members of the public, members of society who want to be much more welcoming towards refugees and migrants. That's what we see in Oxfam. We're constantly being asked how people can help, how they can do more. So it's a mixed picture, but it's very important that governments take a stand against the xenophobia and the racism and the scapegoating of refugees and migrants.
So what is Oxfam doing to be part of that conversation?
Yeah, well, we're helping meet immediate needs. So we're working in 20 countries that are hosting large numbers of refugees and people who are displaced within their own countries. So across Syria, Jordan, Lebanon and Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've also launched a campaign which is about upholding refugee and migrants' rights. And there are two big opportunities with summits in New York, the first hosted by the UN, the second by President Obama, where richer countries, where all countries can really show that refugee rights and migrant rights must be upheld.
So it's an ongoing project. Well, Maya
yes.
Miller from Oxfam, it's been a pleasure. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.